Good morning, everyone. Hello and welcome. My name is James Brown, and I'm Head of Circus Studies here at the National Institute of Circus Arts. And I'll be your host for this never-before-seen Digital Open Day and Information session. I'd like to start off by paying my respects to all Aboriginal, Torres Strait Island nations across Australia and acknowledge the traditional owners of the land in which we gather, create and play, the Wurundjeri and Bunurong people of the Kulin Nations. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. So we're here today to learn more about NICA, the training, the people, and how it all works. So NICA's been officially around since 2001, and to date we have upwards of 280 graduates entertaining audiences around the world. That includes Circus Oz and Circa here in Australia, and the huge international company Cirque du Soleil. Now, while NICA's been strongly influenced by the Chinese, Russian and European circus styles and training techniques, I'm so excited to be able to say Australia has a rich history of creating world-class circus artists, and NICA has played a huge role in this. So the Digital Open Day, what can we expect? Today, you guys will have the opportunity to meet some of our NICA team, learn more about the programs and training we offer here at NICA, take a look at health and safety, meet some inspiring graduates, and take a closer look in our auditions and how to best prepare yourselves. And of course, throughout the day, ask any questions that you have. So obviously, COVID has affected so many aspects of our lives, especially down here in Melbourne. We're still in stage 4 lockdown. The new norm for us is Zooming, Skyping, FaceTiming to stay connected and to get work done. This situation has unfortunately affected our audition tour, making it impossible to travel interstate, host and run our face-to-face auditions, which is pretty sad because personally it's one of the highlights of my year, being able to travel and meet the next generation of circus artists. But keeping everything COVID safe, if you are wanting to audition for your place at NICA in 2021, you'll first need to apply online via the Swinburne website. Now, if you meet all those prerequisites, you will be invited to submit an audition video. All this information about creating and editing your videos will be sent out in an easy step-by-step document to follow. And look, we understand that everyone's not a tech genius. So if you are having any issues, please get in contact with us and we'll be able to help you out. All right, let's have a look in more detail on how today is going to run. And look, I'll say that no one wants to stand in front of a computer screen for long periods of time, so we'll have lots of breaks throughout the day. We're going to kick it off at 11:15, exploring and unpacking the auditions, circus skills and training. We're going to meet Dr. David Munro, who will take us through well-being, self-care, health and safety. You guys will meet the year-level coordinators and gain a better understanding of the structure of the degree and the Certificate 4 program. By then, I reckon it's about lunchtime, so have an hour off. Come back at 1:30 for your performance and movement workshop, exploring accretions, which will be the other component for your auditions. You'll be introduced to Circa NICA, as well as meet some of our inspiring graduates. Today, we've got Jamie Bretman and Luke Hart. And the final part of the day will be an opportunity for you guys to share some training footage and gain feedback. So if you'd like some feedback or some training tips on particular skills you guys are working on, post it to our Instagram with the hashtag NICA Audition Journey, or email your videos to auditions@nica.com.au. Let us know what we can help you with. All right, so as I mentioned, throughout the day, you can post questions in the chat field. However, if you do have questions for a particular guest, I suggest waiting until their section and asking your question then. Lots of information. And if you've just joined us, hello, welcome. My name is James Brown and I'm Head of Circus Studies here at NICA, and I'll be your host for this never-before-seen Digital Open Day. So the first question here is, tell them about yourself. Right, sure, no problem. So I actually graduated from the program as part of the first intake back in 2003. and I've been lucky enough to tour the world performing, producing and directing work for the past 15 years. I'm originally from Queensland and came from a high-level gymnastics, acrobatics, ballet and theatre background. Yes, I was a very hyperactive child. And now while I was at NICA, I specialised in hand balancing, acrobatics, Russia and Russian bar. Now, as most of you guys would know, NICA is made up of so many training hours, hard physical circus training. However, there are many aspects that make up the Bachelor of Circus Arts degree. We have the performance and movement classes, the anatomy, physiology, history of circus, music, technical aspects, and arguably one of my favourite units is the business course. Knowing how to network, promote and market yourself and your different acts is so important. Look, I think that's enough from me. Let's move into our first section for the NICA Digital Open Day and welcome one of the members of the audition panel for 2021 and our first year coordinator, Emily Hughes.
Alright, so we're going to kick off with a bit of a warm-up. Not our normal warm-up we do at NICA, because I understand that we're all going to be standing in front of a computer screen today. So make sure before you do any sort of physical activity that you've checked out your space, whether that's in a gym, in a training space or in your house. Just have a good look around, make sure you can stretch those arms out, you're not going to hit anything, make sure there's no glass nearby, we don't want to kick anything and we don't want to have any injuries. Alright, so if we can just pop up, we're just going to take our arms out, we're going to just circle those wrists and we're going to open and close those fingers. Then we're going to take it into our elbows. So remember, when you're warming up for something, think about why you're warming up. Are you warming up to do a contortion session? We're going to take it into our shoulders. Are you warming up to do a tumble session? Because each of those things require you to do something different with your body. So we're going to take this one across. So today is quite static, so we're going to hold our stretches a little bit. But if you're getting ready for a tumbling session, you want to make sure that you're opening up those muscles, getting them ready to fire fast and look after those landings. When you're doing warm-up for your start of the day or the middle of the day, it's really good to do a combination of your active and your passive stretching. You don't want to sit in your splits for 3 minutes or so and then try and get up and do your round off flip and all your tumbling, because your muscles will have turned to jelly and they will have forgotten what they're wanting to do. We're just going to take some isolations into our ribs to help get that movement. And we're going to take it forwards. Seeing as we're sitting at a desk, we really want to open those chests up again. We all have a bad habit of hunching. We're going to take it into those shoulder rolls. Excellent. We're just going to take it into our neck. We're going to gently pull down, resisting again. You can press this hand away, opening that shoulder up. Then we're going to look at that armpit. Keep those shoulders nice and square. Good. Coming back to center and over to the other side. And take a look through that armpit. Coming back to center, we're going to chin to chest and you're going to resist up against your hands. Nice and gently, not too much pressure. And then we're going to look up at the roof, closing your mouth so you're stretching through the front of your neck. Good. Alright, hopefully we're all feeling a bit more loose. We're going to head back over to JB and see what's next on the cards.
So as I mentioned before, COVID has affected our audition tour and the interstate travel this year, which is pretty sad. So let's have a little bit of a chat about the audition process and the skills that you guys need to present within your audition video. Look, I think I'd like to start by saying we understand that everyone comes from different backgrounds, different training styles, and that's what I think what makes circus so great. Here we're really wanting to see what you guys do in your normal training. So please don't chuck something for the first time when you're filming. make sure you keep everything nice and safe. The audition panel here are looking for your potential to achieve elite circus skills. So at this audition stage, we don't need everything perfect. We need you guys to give it a go and obviously be as safe as possible. All right, so our circus audition component is made up of 5 sections. So we're going to have a bit of an explore through the flexibility, through the handstands, tumbling, strength and conditioning, and your coordination. So Em, if you're there, do you want to take us through some of those flexibility exercises about what we're looking for in this particular section?
Absolutely, I'd love to. So in your flexibility region, we have 3 skills that we're looking for. So we're looking for your 3-way split, and we're looking for that nice square hips. We want those engaged legs, pointed toes, and nice lifted chest. Our second one we're looking at is our pike, so our forward fold or our sit and reach. So a part of our audition guide is we'll actually tell you how to video it. So when you do your forward fold, we would like you to be side on to the camera so that we can see whether we've got how much gap we've got between your chest and your legs essentially. So we're wanting to engage those legs, stretch those feet, and if you can, really lengthen through that spine. Our third and final flexibility one that we're looking at is our back bend. So keeping, again, with nice alignment, fingers right under those shoulders, pressing up into your bridge, engaging those glutes, if you can, straightening through your knees, looking at your fingers and trying to have your shoulders above your hands or going beyond to your fingertips. I think that's it for the flexibility.
Yeah, absolutely. So even after seeing those 5 skills, the audition panel are able to get a good assessment about some general flexibility there. Now, moving into our second component for the audition, we would like to have a look at your hand balancing. Now, we understand, as I said, that people are coming from different backgrounds and are at different levels. So please give things a go. If you don't feel it's safe, then no problem. Just move on from that section within the video. Your first handstand skill, we would like to see a free hold. So that means not against the wall, in the middle of the space if you can, kicking up, jumping up, pressing up to handstand, and we're aiming to hold for 60 seconds. Okay, so obviously making sure that you're pushing up through the shoulders, transferring the balance into your fingers, locking the body, and making sure that you are breathing and just taking in all of the handstand shape that you're presenting. So moving on to number 2, we are looking for 10 tuck, jump to handstand. So we're looking here at the tracking that your body is going through. So making sure that you're starting with your hands on the floor, jumping the hips above the shoulders, and stretching into that handstand position, holding 1, 2. All right. Next up, we're going to try some straddle jumps to handstand, and we're going to ask for 5. We're going to ask for 5 of these. So again, similar, we're jumping out and out through straddle, tracking nicely, stacking everything, and holding for 2 seconds at the top. Very nice. That's good. The balance there. Great control. A little bit more complex here is the straddle press to handstand. This is using your flexibility and your strength, okay? And we're wanting to see the control here. So hands going down up onto the toes, straddle pressing through straddle, holding 1, 2 at the top, and controlling that down to the floor. All right, our second last exercise here is the L hold. Okay, so the L sit, and we're wanting to see this for a duration of 30 seconds. By 30 seconds, you should be burning. It should be quite difficult. All right, here we go. The last handstand skill is a durational 90-second wall hold. Now, as the athlete there, you can see chest to the wall, and the only thing touching the wall is the toes. To recap, we've seen and spoken about our flexibility. We have discussed our hand balancing and making sure that the tracking, making sure that the body position is correct. All right, I reckon we might move onto that onto that tumbling section, and I'll throw it over to you, Em.
Alright, so first up we'd like to see your handstand forward roll. As you can see, our athlete is showing you 4 entries into it. You're a kick up, tuck up, straddle up, pike up. We really want to see that control and that lowering through nice straight arms into your roll.
The next one here, we have continuous cartwheels. We are looking for speed, power, alignment.
Next we have our handspring. We're really wanting to get that pop into the handspring, so that nice strong shoulder pop and that really nice open landing. See, our athlete here is the eyes following their hands and nice open chest on their landing. That's going to give you a nice power and some nice control.
Absolutely, very important points there, Em. Let's move to our standing back handspring. So if we can, if this is in your repertoire, as you can see the athlete doing standing back handspring, if you can do 1, let's set back to the start, and let's try and demonstrate 3 connected. And we're wanting to try and gain speed and momentum throughout the activity here. Very nice.
Next we have your standing back salt. Please only complete this if it's in your repertoire.
Alright, the last component of your tumbling does allow you guys to show us any other additional tumbling skills you have. This could be connected. So here we see connected aerials, we can see flip salts, butterfly twists. There's a whole thing that you guys can present here to show off your best skills. Alright, so there's the tumbling component. Obviously it's very exciting and we want you guys to be as safe as you can while presenting this. It's important that you do set up the camera in the right angles to make sure that your skills are being presented in the best fashion. Look, I think we might, let's move on to this strength and conditioning. This is section number 4. Starting in a seated position, we're trying to pull ourselves up using our upper body and core strength. We are after a 6-meter rope climb. Obviously, if this is not in your repertoire, please stay safe. If you need to wrap your legs and climb the rope with legs, that is acceptable at this level.
Next we have your wall bar leg lifts. So if you don't have a wall bar, feel free to use a trapeze. Just maintain your ears between your biceps, so we're really engaging that core and seeing what your strength is like.
Excellent. Moving on to our leg strength. So we've got leg pistol squats. And as you can see in the video, there are different options depending on your level. Okay, we want to see the power that you can produce through your legs. Very important.
Following on, we have our chin-ups. So overhand grip, pulling our chin clearly above the bar, keeping our legs nice and still and nice and smooth motion throughout the whole execution.
And our final strength exercise is the classic push-up. Keeping those elbows in, we're after 20 and with a nice strong core and plank position. So just to recap, obviously our strengthening is such an important part of circus training. Fitness, conditioning makes up so many aspects of skill development, okay? So all I can say is that it's so important to make sure that you're strengthening not just the core. If you're doing dish holds and stomach work, then make sure that you are also conditioning and strengthening the back. If you are doing pulling exercises, make sure that you are also training pushing exercises, okay? So let's, I think that's pretty good. Let's move on to the final section of our auditions, the coordination section. Our first activity here is juggling. Now, obviously, NICA is not an acrobatic school, we're a circus school. So this is a great opportunity for you guys to show us your juggling skills. 3 balls, clubs, and we're looking for that consistency.
Next we have our stick balance. So at entry level you can start with stick on your hand. If you want a bit more challenge, take it onto your forehead or nose, and even greater you can take it onto your foot, and we're looking for 10 seconds.
Alrighty, this fit ball, this is quite difficult. So this is a new one. We're wanting to see you guys check your balance. So this is a 30-second. You can see there are simpler options, seated or intermediate on knees. We might pause there for a sec. It's really important, I just have to say, when you're training or trialing the ball balance, to please make sure safety is adhered to. So if you need to get to a wall bar or get someone to spot you, if you would like to attempt the standing position on the ball, we do encourage that. Please take it really slowly, build up to these skills when training. Thanks very much. We'll move on to the next one.
Next we have hula hoop, and we're looking for waist hooping, keeping that hoop nice and flat. We're looking for a duration of 1 minute. So we're looking at your endurance as well as that ability to keep the hoop nice and even.
And the last component is partner work. So a little bit of acrobalance here. We are wanting to ensure that you guys can both base and fly this particular counterbalance. So making sure that the positions are correct, hand grips are very important. So I do encourage you guys to study the video and show us your best acrobalance positions and attempts there. We'll just recap on our circus skills. So that actually concludes the circus component of your audition. Now, obviously, please refer back to our online requirements, study the videos, and please film them and put your best self forward in these videos. It's a great opportunity. So to recap, we've looked at our flexibility, we've looked at our handstands, tumbling, we have looked at strength and conditioning, as well as your coordination. So all of those things make up the circus, and I really encourage you guys to tune in at 1:30 to go through the performance and movement, where they'll unpack a little bit more about act creation, which is the other component of your audition. So, Em, do you want to add anything else to the audition circus components?
When you're filming your auditions, try and film them in the order that we've listed. It really helps us as the audition panel. It doesn't matter if you're not putting a skill in, but still try and film it in the order that we've listed.
Look, I reckon I've been told we have a bit more time, and we have an opportunity to do a question and answer. So if you guys have questions in the chat there, or I know that some people have been emailing it through to auditions@nica.com.au, we might post some of those questions in a minute. I have also been told that there will be a prize for the best question of the day. So I'm not sure the criteria there, but hey, if you want to be in the running to win a prize, definitely jump on, put your question up, and we'll do our best to answer it. So if there are any questions there, what is your favorite part of working at NICA? So for me personally, I love working at NICA. I feel so lucky to be able to work at the circus every day. I love being able to see students progress through the course and then graduate with these amazing specialty acts. So it's really fantastic to see where they then lead and where they then go and work to. So it's really fantastic to see people from an audition stage right through to a professional stage and everything in between. I really enjoy the students' development and everything about the circus community here. Em?
Yeah, I'm the same. I really enjoy the journey and the process and part of the programming and getting people through those tricky elements of skills that they may not thought that they could achieve, and then we do achieve those things. And I do, yeah, like you say, I love seeing them on stage at the end of their third year once they've graduated, seeing how they've grown as athletes and humans. It's fantastic.
I don't have access to a climbing rope or gym at the moment. How can I do these parts of the audition? Look, what we're kind of finding around this time is that it is quite difficult. So for activities like the rope climb or anything aerial, not many people have aerial setups in their backyard. So it is quite difficult. But obviously anything that it will be using your arms, you know, perhaps you have a chin-up bar in the doorway, or you have something in your pergola that is safe and sturdy. Anything that you're able to do that sort of pulling exercise using the arms will be absolutely fantastic to be able to record and see. Obviously, if in your video audition, if you make note of that, we will obviously take that into consideration, especially around this pandemic time. But it is difficult. And I obviously encourage, if people aren't able to actually rope climb, as I said, if you can get onto a bar and do static holds to keep generating that power. And would you agree with that?
Absolutely. If you can do, because obviously we ask for wide grip push-up, chin-ups, sorry, normal ones. So if you can do a hold in close grip as well, just to show us that different muscle engagement is awesome.
Yeah. Are we allowed to get spotted in the in our audition video? That's an interesting question. So as a rule, when we run auditions face to face, we do not allow spotting. Obviously, as I said, we're wanting to see what you guys do in your normal training. And while people are at a training level, that is also different to a presentation or a performance level. So it's okay to say or to let us know that you are being spotted for certain skills. So in the video audition, maybe take the opportunity to get someone to spot you. That's fine. Obviously, we will take that into consideration when we're assessing. It will give us an indication of where you're at, and depending on how heavy that spot may be, or how much that spotter is involved in a skill, I would be happy to see that. But obviously, you're presenting skills standalone by yourself at a level that is confident to your training ability. Em, I'll give you this one.
Can we show modified versions of skills if we have limitations? Absolutely. As JB's mentioned a couple of times already this morning, please show us what is safe for you and what is your normal training. So if you have a version of a skill that works better for you, then please show us that, and we will take that into consideration throughout the audition process.
I've auditioned before and didn't get in. Is there any way for me to get feedback on why? It's very difficult. We see a huge volume of auditionees every year. So to give individual feedback to everyone is quite time prohibitive. What I would suggest anyone do is to definitely go back and look at those resources that we have. I really encourage you, depending on your training and your situation, if you need some more face-to-face or coaching time, then NICA also offers short course opportunities to do one-on-one or private sessions if you want to really help prepare yourself for the audition. In regards to feedback, we do give general feedback at the start of at the end of the audition day. So I'm not really sure how else to expand on that. But look, we really do encourage people to audition, and we understand that it is very competitive. There are only 20 spots, roughly 20 spots each year in the Bachelor, and similar to the Cert 4. So it is a very competitive program to get into. And we really don't want people to be disheartened if they're not successful the first time. It is one of those things that we want to see you come back. We want to see your skill development. And at the audition process, throughout that audition process, we can also let you know how you're going.
If we can't hold a handstand, can we use a spotter? Well, as JB said, we're looking for a maximum of 60 seconds. So if you show us your best attempt, that's what we want to see. We want to see where you're at. If that's a 2-second handstand, that's totally fine. That's showing that you understand the awareness, you understand your shaping, and you understand what you're doing up there. We can teach the holding later.
Does it matter if I don't know my specialty yet? Oh, don't know my specialty yet. I like lots of apparatus. Well, that's fantastic. I'm glad to hear that you have lots of apparatus, and therefore that sort of tells me that you have a lot of ability and diversity across your training and your skill set there. Coming into the program in first year, and Em can probably talk a little bit more about this in a minute, in regards to, we actually run specialty shopping. So after you've done a lot of your foundations, your trainers will take you through all the prerequisites that physically allow you to make sure that you're appropriate to continue training in that particular specialty. So, for instance, if you're a 40 kilo individual, it's unlikely you'll be standing underneath a 3-high acrobatic pyramid. Chances are you'll be on top. Okay, so we're wanting to make sure that people are in the appropriate places and making sure that the training has longevity for your career. Okay, so we're wanting to make sure that the artists and the skills in which you're training are able to be repeated for many years to come. We don't want to see that you can do it once and then you're out. Em, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, sure. So, as JB said, we have our specialty shopping, and during that time, we actually encourage you to try all of the specialties that are on offer for 2 reasons. One, you might find one that you didn't realize you were good at or you enjoy, and 2, you might also find out that you don't necessarily actually like that one that you thought you might do. And as JB said, we work together with the trainers to find what's going to be the best fit for you. So as JB said, we want you to have longevity of career. We want you to be able to still go out and do whatever it is when you're 40, 50, 60, not just finish up when you're 25. So, that's a very important part of our training process too. Thanks. Which students do best at NICA? Well, interestingly enough, attitude has a big part to do with this. Like anything, it's a hard slog. There's going to be days that you don't necessarily love. There's going to be classes that you might not like. But all of it is very important in rounding out your training while you're at NICA. If you're coming in and you're not wanting to listen to the trainers, it's going to make your journey very challenging and very difficult. Respectful dialogue is always encouraged between students and trainers, but we do ask that you listen to the trainers, because hopefully they're there, they've got the industry information, they've got the knowledge, they've got the years behind them, and they're going to help you through the space. The other thing is, go to all your classes, turn up to training, make sure you're sleeping well, eating well, all of that crazy life organization stuff really helps when you're at NICA, which is such a full-time demanding course.
Absolutely.
Do you want to add anything to that, JB?
No, I absolutely agree with everything that you've said there, Em. Obviously, I think the best students at NICA know why they're there. They're there to train, to get the skills, to get the industry knowledge, and to go and perform around the world. So as Em said, go to those classes. Every single component of the degree program is scaffolded together to make sure you guys have the knowledge that you need to best present yourself to industry. What is the average age of a NICA student? Do you have any or many older students? Absolutely. Look, we've had students straight out of high school, and we have students that are in their mid to sometimes even late 30s. So depending on where the students want to move to and what sort of specialties they want to go into, they are welcome. And obviously everyone, as I said, is at different levels. So there's a very wide range of ages. And look, at the end of the day, we kind of look at age as a number, as long as our body is fit, our mind is tuned and ready to go, we are happy to train and work with almost everyone. I heard NICA has been running online during the pandemic. Will it be opening soon? Oh gosh, I really hope so. I know that a lot of our students like myself, hyperactive, they need to be burning off their energy. And while we have been doing online, a lot of the online has been making sure that our academic classes have been covered. So I know our music, our technical aspects, our history, and some of our business courses have been running, and that has really kept our students engaged. But obviously our students are here also to train in the physical. So while we've been encouraging students to train safely in their home environments, with trainers zooming in, it is quite limited, as we kind of spoke about before, in regards to not necessarily having aerial equipment in your backyard. So those jugglers, those hand balancers, some of the foot jugglers are able to continue their training and progress maybe with their trainers. Some of those aerialists have had to be very patient and also creative in what sort of activities they can do. And I know the trainers have been putting together programs, aerial fitness focus, and making sure that the body is in tune for when we are able to return. That integration process is quite smooth, and able to move quite quickly. So as soon as we get the okay from the government and from Swinburne, we will be opening and going through all of the correct safety procedures to making sure that the space is sanitized and masked if we need to, but also making sure that the students are always safe. And I know they did a great job last time we were back in the building, cleaning the mats and making sure all of their equipment was taken care of. And we'll be following all of those procedures when we're back. And look, fingers crossed, end of October, and we'll finish out the year. How do we know what angles to use to film the video for the audition? Em, do you want to jump on that?
Absolutely. So when we send out your audition pack, it will include what skills you need to do, and then with each skill it will have what angle we would like to see it on. So for example, your pike or forward folding and your bridge, we'd like to see them side on. For tumbling, it will give you the suggestions of what angles that we should use, side on, front on. So that's all there, all detailed for you step by step.
Absolutely. All right, I think we've got a couple more questions coming through, and then we might take a short break. Do we have any more questions there? Oh, here we go. What's your favorite part of working at NICA? Have we had that? Do we have that at the start? Maybe we had that at the start.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Okay, here we go. Let's do this one. This is looks like a pretty good one. This is in the might win the prize. How often do NICA students get injured? And I can't read the left of that, so I'll just answer the first part. How often do NICA students get, and what is the most common injury? Okay, there we go. So obviously NICA takes safety very, very seriously. We use all of the correct safety matting, all of the lunge lines and harnesses, and obviously a lot of our programs are developed to start easy and develop through to the harder, more complex skills. So no one's being asked to do the triple back somersault off the teeter board on the first day. Okay, there's a really clear, slow progression that trainers will take students through. Interestingly enough, it's usually the simple things. The athlete has done the complex skill and will have landed and will be walking off the mat and may roll an ankle. And that's one of the most frustrating injuries, because the tough part's done, and then that concentration lapse just for that 1 second on the dismount, and small injuries occur. So it's one of those things that we really try and encourage and make sure our students stay focused until they're off stage, off the mats, whatever it may be. So ankle injuries are up there. Also shoulders, we do obviously a lot of work in the hand balancing, in the aerial realm, hanging, pulling, pushing, and obviously wrists overuse. So throughout all of our injuries, we work really closely with the medical team to ensure that we target and strengthen those areas with the most common injuries. So there is a lot of rehab and prehab exercises, activities and classes run by trainers and our physio team to really try and combat and make sure that the injuries are managed quickly and efficiently. Em, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I think you've knocked that one completely on the head. As you say, it's often that minor lapse of concentration when you're walking off mats through the space, out to lunch that our injuries occur. And as you said, yeah, prehab and rehab and injury prevention is really, really important at NICA. So the trainers do work really closely with the physios to make sure that our programs are loading you in the right way.
How many hours a day do students spend training, and how much time is in the classroom? Well, it's interesting. The training floor, I actually class as a classroom. So let's say that there is at least 4 hours of physical circus training a day. And then depending on the cohort, so we try and stagger our cohorts. I think we have third years and first years training circus in the morning. And then in the afternoons, they will move to either a performance or a movement class or another academic class, depending whatever is programmed or scheduled in that particular year. And alternately, Cert 4s and second years will do performance, movement, and academic in the morning, and circus training in the afternoon. So there's quite a good balance there, and we understand obviously that the circus training makes up one component. It is a large component, but making sure that our students are well-rounded, as we've spoken about, going to those classes and gaining that knowledge that will assist them in the future and in the industry. I reckon we have maybe one more question, then we might take a break. How do we feel about that? I'm finishing a Bachelor of Arts, but I want to go for circus training. Will the Cert 4 be okay for someone who is not a beginner? Em?
Absolutely. So Cert 4 has a wide range of abilities. It's not just seen as the beginner's year or anything like that. As we do in the bachelor course, the classes are tailored to your abilities. So if you can already do a back salt, we're not going to spend a long time drilling the pre-back salt. We will work on finessing your back salt and the skills that you have and building upon that. As with everything, we're always looking technique, we're always looking for your strength and conditioning, so we'll be working on all of those areas. But no, absolutely, the Cert 4 will be okay for someone who is not a beginner.
All right, this is officially the last question. How old do you have to be to audition? So this is an interesting question. Obviously, to gain access into the bachelor program, there are a whole heap of prerequisites and education requirements that we need, and all that information can be found on the website. We do encourage younger athletes to audition, even for experience. So if you're 15, 16, 17, we would love to see you in an audition to try and give you that edge. To see, to have that experience of auditioning, to gain a little bit of feedback throughout the process. So I would say anywhere between 15 upwards. And obviously then just please go back and check those requirements in regards to moving into the Certificate 4 or moving into the Bachelor program. And also for those younger athletes that would like the experience, we also run the pre-audition workshop. Obviously, unfortunately, we won't be running that this year due to COVID. But the pre-audition workshop gives applicants a more detail and maybe some more feedback opportunities throughout a training environment. So in this pre-audition workshop, we'll take you through some of the audition skills, give you guys tips, tricks, as well as drills to be able to gain these skills. In the afternoon, we also offer performance and movement workshops, prepping athletes to best prepare themselves for the audition. So a pre-audition workshop, when it's up and running, hopefully next year, would be a great opportunity for our younger auditionees, but hopefully that has helped in regards to what age you have to be. So just a quick recap. Hopefully everyone's having a good time. This is the NICA Digital Open Day, never before seen. We've just been through our circus components in regards to the audition process. We are not running face-to-face auditions this year, so all of your auditions will need to be submitted via video, and that can. And if you have any information about that, please email the auditions at NICA.com.au. And also another sort of reminder, if you would like some training tips or some feedback on skills that you're working on, then please send us those videos, and you can send that through to hashtag NICA Audition Journey or email auditions@nica.com.au. Em and I will be back this afternoon to look at those videos and do our best to offer critiques and suggestions on those videos provided. So I'm actually really looking forward to that, Em.
Yes, am I.
It'd be good to see what people are doing. So again, Emily, thank you very much for joining us this morning and taking us through that warm up, taking us through our audition skills. I look forward to seeing you in person very soon. I think if that's okay, we might move to a 10-minute break before our next session with Dr. Dave. So thanks everyone for joining us. We'll see you back in about 10 minutes at 11:55.